Hey everyone, welcome back to another video, and today we are going to be going over the content that I own on iRacing and whether you should or shouldn't buy it. So basically I'm going to give a bit of feedback on each of the bits that I own and then kind of say why and why not, and yeah. So let's go straight over to tier maker and begin the video. So here is our tier list then. We have superb, quality, wouldn't recommend and never buy, and we are going to be listing, I think that's 6 cars and 5 tracks. So without further ado, let's go straight into it. So we'll start with the cars first, and the first one up is the first car I ever bought on iRacing, which is the Aston Martin GT4 car. I think it's a great GT4 car, great entry level into that faster paced but tin top cars, and for that reason I think I'm going to put it just because it's not the best car I've ever driven. For GT4s, I'd say maybe it's a really good car, but for any car that you want to buy, I wouldn't necessarily put it up in quality or superb. The next car is the Audi R8 GT3 car. Now, this one's an interesting one because it was the first GT3 car I ever bought because the Audi was my favorite. That's the team I went for and watched in the Fanatec World Challenge series. But honestly, I am not a fan, so I'm going to have to put a wouldn't recommend. I just feel like the rear end is super slippery. Any high speed corners, the rear end just goes. Like, for no apparent reason, it just slides out. But also, I'm going to also put it there because they are releasing a new Audi R8 soon, which may be good, which just means that this one won't be out for long. So if you buy it, it might be a bit pointless, I suppose. So actually, I'm going to put that in never buy then, just because a new one is going to be coming out soon. So yeah, next one is our first open wheel car, the Dallara F3. This also was the first open wheel car I bought, and open wheels are my favorite, hence I bought that one, and you see the F4 there as well. And I think it's really, really good car, especially for the Formula C series. I think it works really, really well, but I also think it is an slightly inconsistent car. I think like one lap you could be doing an absolute incredible lap, and then this next lap you do the exact same, but for some reason it's just the pace isn't there or something like that. And for that reason, I think I'm gonna have to put it as well. So it's great for Formula C if you want to work your way up, do Formula 4 in D class, then Formula 3 in C class, and so on. I think it's a great path, but the car itself, I really like it, but I'm not the huge fan of it. Next up is the Ferrari GT3, but this one is definitely going never buy, just because there's a new one out already. I don't exactly know why I put it in there, but there is a new one out, so definitely don't buy that. It was one of my favorite GT3 cars, but now that there's a new one, don't buy it, basically. And now we get to the F4 car, which is 100% a superb car. It is incredible. The way you can go at such high speeds, but the car just sticks to the road, and its handling and just the physics about the car just feel incredible. It is by far my favorite open wheel car, and I know if you look anywhere on YouTube or Google, you'll see so many people giving it that much praise because it is just an amazing car. You can have such good, close, high action races in it, and great battles. So it's definitely a superb car, number 1 on the tier list, and I'd say number 1 out of all of these cars. And now the last car is the Porsche 911 GT3, I think. So this GT3 car, but it's the 992, which means it's the newer model, which was released in maybe, I think, Season 2 this year, maybe, or Season 1, sometime this year. But it is, again, another superb car, 100% superb. For the GT3 class and the tin top cars, it is incredible. The handling is amazing, and it just, again, it feels like it sticks to the road quite well, and I don't know how to explain it. Personally, I really, really like it, and I know lots of people also like the Porsche as well. But now we get onto the tracks, and also these cars here and tracks are the cars and tracks I own. So so be wary that there are lots of other cars and tracks you can choose, but these are just the ones I own, so I actually have an opinion on them. But yeah, so we get into the tracks. First track I ever bought, Mount Panorama, or else known as Bathurst. And I'm going to have to put that in quality. because honestly, the track is quality. It's an incredible track, but I just wouldn't put it superb because it's such a lethal track as well. One little error, and that's the end of you, especially in the mountain section. But if you want to challenge, especially, and if you want to compete in the Bathurst 1000, definitely need that track, and it's a great challenge. So if you're up for that, go have a look at that Bathurst then. And now the next one is Road Atlanta, which I only bought, I think, a couple days ago, and I've driven it maybe once or twice, but honestly, I think it's a quality track. It's just, I don't know what about it, but I just really, really like it, and the way it flows and everything like that is really good. So I highly recommend the Road Atlanta. And then my first major track that I bought was Spa, and that straight away superb. There's like no track on iRacing that I personally think that beats Spa, just because of its length and its prestigiousness is just through the roof, and it's such a classic track as well, and it works with any car. Literally any of these cars on the list you could race there, and it would be an incredible race. And now Phillip Island, which I have been there personally many, many times, or not many, many times, maybe like 3 times, but that is a quality track. Just again, the way it flows, I love how it flows. Each corner leads into the next with like such precision, and it's just amazing feeling driving around it. There's none of these tracks beat that feeling of just flowing left, right, hairpin, down the hill, to the right, etc. So definitely recommend Phillip Island. And now the final track, Watkins Glen. And I'm going to have to put that in air. I know lots of people really, really like the track, and I've heard it's really, really good. That's why I bought it. Also because it's on so many schedules in iRacing, so that's another reason you could get Watkins Glen. But in the few races I've had, I wouldn't say I've struggled for pace, but I've struggled for consistency. And the curbs, some of them you can take heaps of curb on them because they're so wide, but also they're very, very lethal, the curbs. I had a race today where ended terribly because of a curb. But definitely Watkins Glen, Road Atlanta, Spa, and Bathurst are all tracks that are really good because if you want to race them a lot, they're really good because they're guaranteed on a schedule of iRacing. And more likely than not, they'll be guaranteed on like the F3 and the GT3s. And GT4s as well. So highly recommend these tracks. Don't ever buy the Audi and the Ferrari. I definitely would not buy those. If the Ferrari was still available and it wasn't the new one, I'd probably put it in superb or quality. But yeah, it's not available. Don't buy it. And definitely don't buy the Audi because a new one's coming out and it is terrible. So there you have it. That's my take on the content that I own. If you do have any of your own opinions, feel free to comment them down below. I love reading over them and just looking at what you guys think. But that's all for today. So make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next video.